The Coffee Monster by Nate Friedman. There once lived a normal family in a pleasant little town. There were mom, dad, and two cute little children. James, the older brother, was 9 years old, and Jenna, his little sister, was only 5. James and Jenna got along very well despite their age difference. James was very active and loved to play sports. Jenna was quieter than most girls her age and extremely intelligent. They were a happy family with not a care in the world. There was, however, one very special thing about this family. They had no cats, no dogs, no pets of any kind. What they did have was a coffee monster. He had been part of their family for as long as anyone could remember. He wasn't particularly scary, nor did he attempt to do anything bad to anyone, unless he didn't get his coffee. The coffee monster had to be fed. Lately, the coffee monster had been demanding more coffee than usual to stay happy. He was no longer content with what the nice family was feeding him at home. On this day, mom and dad had left early to go to work, and the kids had gone to school. The coffee monster, left alone, went through every part of the kitchen and left a big mess everywhere. The kids arrived home first and saw the gigantic mess. "What are we gonna do?" cried James. "Mom and Dad will never believe that it wasn't us." So they both started to clean as fast as they could. The coffee monster just stood in the corner and laughed. About halfway through cleaning, Mom and Dad came in. James's jaw dropped when he saw Dad's foot come through the door. There was still spilled milk and a few containers on the ground. James tried to plead instantly. "Dad, it wasn't us." Jenna stayed quiet, trying not to make the situation worse. Dad responded, "What are you gonna do? Tell me." "The coffee monster did it?" He laughed. Dad wasn't one to cry over spilled milk, literally, but he did have to punish the kids, and Mom agreed. They were sent up to their rooms on timeouts and told never to lie again. The coffee monster hid from the parents and still had a giant smirk on his face. "This is the worst day ever," screamed James. Jenna stayed quiet, not to get into more trouble. She learned to speak only when she really needed to, and certainly never to talk back. Was she the smart one? The coffee monster came up to the room to ask for his daily coffee allowance. "This is all your fault, I hope you know," complained James as he gave him his coffee. The coffee monster had never acted this way before. Why now would he want more coffee? James and Jenna sat and wondered, but they could not figure it out. As they watched other kids play outside, the coffee monster sat on the carpet and finished all his coffee with a puzzled look on his face. The next day was Friday. Fridays were always a good day for James. He liked them not only because of the weekend, but also because this was when he had his soccer games. The whole family came to watch his games, even Grandma and Grandpa. He wasn't always the best player on the team, but James always had the most heart. He played as hard as he could every game, which was the most important thing. After Coach's pregame speech, James felt a pulling on his shirt that brought him away from his team. Who could this be? It turned out to be the coffee monster. "That is coffee, or I will make your team lose like never before," he said. James ran to the nearest coffee shop and got as much coffee as he could carry. He missed the whole first half of the game. This upset his family and his team. He would have some explaining to do. The coffee monster sat under the bleachers, knowing that he needed more and more coffee to keep normal. Everyone ended up having a fun Friday night, except for James, who was punished for missing the first half of his soccer game. This brings us to Saturday morning. Saturday was Jenna's favorite day. She loved to go to ballet class in the morning. This particular Saturday morning, she was very nervous because all the boys and girls in her class had a recital. Mom and Dad helped her get changed and ready for the big show. Jenna was practicing her spins and about to go on stage when all of a sudden she heard a loud groaning. Out popped the coffee monster. "Get me coffee or else!" he screamed, extra agitated this time. Off she ran to the coffee stand, which luckily was in the lobby of the dance hall. She arrived back and fed the coffee monster as much as she could to get on stage just in time. Because of her run to get coffee, she was exhausted and was falling everywhere on stage. This disappointed Mom and Dad, who knew she could do better. The coffee monster sat backstage, surrounded by more coffee than he could ever need. Sunday morning, after church, the whole family went grocery shopping. Dad enjoyed trying all the free samples in the market. "Here, let's get extra coffee," said Mom. "We seem to be going through a lot more of it than normal lately." As she looked in James's direction, they bought all the food they needed, including all the ingredients for their regular Sunday family barbecue. When they carried their bags into the house, they noticed it was a complete mess. Everything from the fridge was all over the floor, and right in the middle, surrounded by coffee, was who else? The coffee monster. He woke up and said, "That's not what it looks like. I just need them as a security blanket." Dad and Mom stared in disbelief and realized that they had been wrong about this situation all along. They proceeded to apologize to the children, who were telling the truth the whole time. The coffee monster sat there upset, flustered at no one other than himself. Coffee monster had hit rock bottom. They unpacked the groceries and had some more cleaning up to do. This was never ending, it seemed, but why not take pride in having a clean home to relax in? Mom told the kids to play outside while they waited for their awesome Sunday barbecue to be prepared. It was a beautiful day outside, with the right amount of sun and breeze. The kids loved to bike around and make up new games outside. Dad was outside on the patio making his famous deluxe burgers. Just the smell of them made your mouth water. His head was not completely into his cooking as it normally was. Something had to be done about this coffee monster situation. Mom was thinking the same thing while preparing all the toppings. Mom and Dad had that super parent sense where they could read each other's minds from different rooms. A few hours passed, and one delicious meal later, it was time for dealing with this situation head on, for which there was never a right time. Best to deal with the rotten banana today so you don't slip on it tomorrow, Dad always said. It was agreed. Mom, Dad, James, and Jenna would all meet in the house. This is how problems had to be solved. The family congregated in the kitchen and started to talk. They all agreed that they wanted what was best for the coffee monster, who clearly had a problem that he could not control. They needed a plan. When did he get so addicted? Wondered Mom. There has to be something we can do. One thing was for sure. Dad didn't want to keep having to clean up after him. I have an idea, said James. We should give him less and less coffee so he doesn't drink enough to cause problems. He realized that when coffee monsters drink too much coffee, they don't make friendly house monsters. Janice squeaked and everyone looked over. I think if we give him one less coffee every time he asks, then soon he'll be well and back to his old self. Mom and Dad smiled because they knew that the kids had come up with a solution. They called the coffee monster into the kitchen for a mini intervention and explained their plan. He admitted he had a problem, which was the first step to recovery. He just wanted to be a nice, happy coffee monster again. He had a tough road ahead and didn't want to hurt the family anymore. The coffee monster smiled, knowing that he still had the love of his beloved family. It took several weeks, but the plan worked, and Coffee Monster became his old self. He now only had his regular amount of coffee each morning. Coffee Monster wasn't bad at all, as long as he didn't drink too much coffee. He even started helping around the house with chores, especially when it came to waking up the family in the morning. The kids lived happily ever after and had learned a lot from what happened. Moderation is the key to healthy living, was the important lesson they had learned. Coffee Monster smiled as he sipped on his new cappuccino drink. Oh no, thought Jenna. The end. Thank you for listening.